Hey, look who's here. It's Judge Jeanine Pirro, getting ready for a big show this weekend.
Yes, I am.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Last weekend, everybody was talking about how Donald Trump tweeted out that it looked like Barack Obama had tapped his phones or something at Trump Tower. Yesterday, James Comey and the intel chiefs met with the congressional leaders and whatnot to find out if there's anything to that. What do you make of what's going on?
Well, you know, I think it's fascinating that the politicians, and you know, you're kind of looking, there are two sides to me. You know, there's a prosecution side and then there's the other side. As a prosecutor, I say, look, this guy is the head of the FBI. He doesn't have to tell any politician anything about any investigation that he's doing. And for all of you who think that, look, we'll keep it secret and we won't tell anyone, that's absurd. 5 minutes later, this thing is going to be on at every television station. So there's very little that he can tell you, that he can, you know, that he can share with you if he's in the middle of a real investigation. However, what I find rather incredible is that James Comey, the man who couldn't wait to get in front of a camera that we're done with Hillary or no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute her. I guess I'm not reasonable, although I would have prosecuted her in a minute, Jim. But then comes back and he says, well, we're reopening the case. Why does he need the Department of Justice to push back on his new claim that we didn't wiretap anybody? I mean, this guy isn't afraid of a microphone.
Well, there's evidence. There's evidence.
You know, come right out and say it, Jim.
There's evidence.
Because you said it indirectly.
There's evidence of others being surveilled as well. In fact,
and I don't doubt it.
Right. Look at James Rosen, our own James Rosen. Dennis Kucinich came out. A reporter played a tape of a sensitive phone call that he had made with someone else at a restaurant. And he's like, how did they get this? This is what he says. I can vouch for the fact that extracurricular surveillance does occur, regardless of whether it is officially approved. I was wiretapped in 2011 after taking a phone call in my congressional office from a foreign leader.
See, here's the question that I have. When the president tweeted that he was wiretapped, did he box himself into a corner so that they could say technically that he wasn't really wiretapped?
Taking it literally,
you know,
right?
Literal. That, you know, maybe they had a bug somewhere as opposed to a wiretap. Maybe it was the terminology that they can deny. And this guy, Clapper, I don't believe a word he says, although he did say there's no evidence of collusion between Trump and the Russians. But, you know, this guy is also the guy who said, we don't wittingly surveil on Americans until we found out they do it every day, all the time, 24/7. So, you know, here's the thing. Do I think that they were looking at Donald Trump? Without a doubt, Barack Obama would do that in a second. He did it to James Rosen, apparently to Kucinich. This is politics. This is the dirtiest game in town.
Well, let's see what happens from it.
Well, speaking of a dirty game in town, unfortunately, on another network, Samantha Bee, a comedian, recently did a piece that we've been covering all morning here, where she mocked attendees of CPAC, saying that they sport Nazi haircuts. It just turns out she made a bit of a mistake. We're going to play the clip and get your reaction.
This venerable conference has long celebrated traditional small government conservatism. Just last year, CPAC was dominated by Ted Cruz supporters. CPAC! And chirpy little with bow ties. This year, the bow ties were gone, replaced by Nazi hair. Nazi hair, Nazi hair.
That last gentleman there on the left, purportedly with a Nazi haircut, instead actually has stage 4 cancer, terminal cancer.
His sister tweeted out, when Samantha Bee makes fun of your brother for having Nazi hair, he actually has stage 4 brain cancer, but whatever floats your boat.
And this is, you know, a time for America to stop and think for a second. This is a moment where we finally can focus on not why, but the left demonizing anyone that they disagree with. They must be Hitler-like from the president on down. They must be a Nazi. They are so willing to go over the top and over the edge to make us anything that is negative, that is horrific.
Yeah.
And this poor young man with stage 4 brain cancer. It's brain cancer.
It is brain cancer, and it is terminal, and it's terrible.
Shame on them.
Sure. Yeah, I got an email from somebody who said that a friend of theirs was there, and apparently the cameraman or the producer from that show said, hey, could you put solitaire up on your computer so that I could take a picture of you playing solitaire during the Donald Trump speech? Obviously, it was to make young conservatives look bad.
Stupid, right.
But you know who looks stupid now is Samantha Bee, because...
And all of them, they just want to hate and demonize.
It does make you, you're right, it makes you stop and think, okay, before you make fun of someone, before you go to the extreme, comparing him to Nazi because he goes to CPAC, he's a registered Democrat, by the way, and goes to conservative,
Yes,
but it makes
member
you
of the
stop
media.
and think how negative
Isn't
and
that
how
amazing?
nasty and how hateful people have become.
You know, the right was never like this. The Tea Party was never like this. People who didn't like Barack Obama didn't do this. This is, I think, the first time in our history that we have gotten to the point where the hate is so extreme that I worry for this country. I do.
I think they want to take God out of everything. We got to get back to that as a country. We need to start thinking of other people and loving other people.
Well, I'll tell you what, while the prognosis for this young man is grim, we have a little something for him to smile about. He did establish a GoFundMe page. When we started, I believe it was less than $10,000, and right now he's up over
52,000. Oh, 54. That's not updated. We're
close to
getting
$55,000. Most of it coming from all of you watching out there.
I hope he has enough money to pay for his bills and to do a little bit of fun, some fun things to check off the bucket list.
Absolutely,
That's
because the heart is there. But when you judge people just by a label or a haircut, that's where you make.
You know what? This is what you're looking at is the heart of America.
That's right.
We are good people. The people on the left who are demonizing us, they are not. I'm sorry. I'm done with them.
Well, she did apologize and give him
so what? She had to apologize.
Thank you for being here. You never.
You believe that?
Listen.
I love it.
We're going to be watching. She says with a smile. All right, Judge, we're going to be watching you this weekend.
Saturday and Sunday.
I love it.